I'm Amanda K. Pardue, interviewing Horace Mann on the issue of Should Schooling Be Required? Thank you for being with us today, Mr. Mann.
Glad to be here, Amanda. Thank you for having me. I know I'm a Yankee in the South, and maybe that's unacceptable to some of y'all. Y'all. You Southerners have such a cute dialect.
Just a few of us. As always, I'd like to begin with a quote by you, sir, to give the audience a brief introduction to your philosophies on education.
Good idea.
You said, "I believe in the existence of a great immutable principle of natural law, or natural ethics, which proves the absolute right of every human being that comes into the world to an education, and which, of course, proves the correlative duty of every government to see that the means of that education are provided for all." So let's begin. Why do you think society should offer public mandated education?
Well, I think it's very important to have a mandated education in a democratic society. You need a literate population for a democratic state to properly function. They have to be knowledgeable of how to go about it, and also be knowledgeable of other people's differences. And I think this is why mandatory education is needed, because it's not just enough to offer it and have people refuse, because that leads to discrimination. They won't know how to work within the system, and they'll be discriminated against. And this is why everybody should have public education. It's very important. I'm going to quote one of the people who influenced me greatly, Mr. Thomas Jefferson. I'm sure you all know a lot about him. But
we interviewed him, actually.
Oh, you did? How is Jeffrey?
The same segment. He was doing very well. A little achy, a little creaky, but
I'm sure. Well, good to hear. Tell him I said hello.
I will.
Well, you've probably heard this then, but Thomas Jefferson, he said, "Where the press is free and every man able to read, all is safe."
One of my favorites.
Mine too. I feel this really sums it up. You need literacy to protect the rights of the individuals, which is what we cherish in this democracy, the rights of the individuals. I believe that education offers us an opportunity to solve all of our problems. This may seem idealistic, but I don't think so. I think that through education and through learning, better understanding, we can solve economic, social, political problems. Problems that arise over our differences, such as race and religion, will be better understood in an educational setting. So I think that is why I believe in a mandatory public education system, and why I pushed for it so many years.
Well, I think it's obvious to the public by now that you believe that education or knowledge is best acquired through schools. What do you feel is the best way to administer that education within the schools?
Well, I think the most important thing when it comes to public education, it comes down to teachers. Teachers are the backbone of schooling. They're the ones who are doing the work. It is a very difficult job. I've often said that teaching is the most difficult of all of the arts and the most profound of all of the sciences. I truly believe it is a job for our heroes of our society, and we must compel more of our intellectuals to teach, to encourage future generations to become intellectuals. I believe in the need to implement, with public funds, schools for teachers, such as you have at Appalachian State. Training our teachers is of the utmost importance. We need well-qualified teachers in order for our students to have a fair and equal public education. It's not enough for if one child is getting taught by a quality teacher and another is not. That is not an equal public education. So we need to have ways to assess this. And when I was in Massachusetts, I set up a system of superintendents to look over school systems and ensure that the teachers were doing their jobs. I also feel that certain things are needed to be mandated for teachers' behavior within the classroom. Corporal punishment should be out. It causes students to fear the teachers. It's not a good situation for them to learn.
I take it you've had a bad experience.
I did. I'd rather not talk about it, but it did influence me greatly. The other thing is drilling. I don't believe in the method of drilling. Some say it's effective, but I see no effectiveness in having a child repeat something over and over in order to learn. I think that teachers must be able to use new techniques and different techniques based upon the children they are teaching. They need a repertoire of teaching techniques, not only common methods for common students, but also peculiar methods for pupils of peculiar disposition and temperaments. We must make sure that all children are taught in the way that is most effective for them. This is a country of individuals. We celebrate our differences, and we must celebrate those differences within our educational system. It can't just be a standard for everybody to learn the same way. That won't work.
Well, in an ideal world, with your desires for these qualified teachers, your adequate funding, effective mandated schooling, including diversity, what do you feel would be necessary within the public curriculum?
Well, there are the basics of reading and writing and arithmetic. I'm sure you've heard that said before, but to move beyond just the basic subjects, I think morality should be taught in schools. This is often a controversial subject. Many people believe that I mean Christian doctrine. This is not what I mean. I'm a Unitarian, but I believe that all faiths, all morality should be taught within schools on the basis of common ground. I think there's a common ground amongst all faiths, amongst all peoples, of what is moral, what is ethically right. And I think that this common ground is what should be taught for schools. I feel in an ideal environment, we will no longer need police. Teachers will act as the police because they will be guiding our students to the moral light, if you will. And if everybody is well educated about what is moral, what is acceptable, what is ethical, then there will be much less crime, much less problems.
I'd certainly send my kids to your school, sir.
And to move beyond morality, I think in a democratic government, you need to teach democratic principles. You need to teach the foundations of this nation. You need to teach the principles of the founding fathers and so forth, so that people understand their country, they understand how it works, and they can use it to better themselves, so that their rights are not trampled upon. That is, of the essence, those two things.
Yes, sir, which certainly has been enlightening talking to you today. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have. But I appreciate you making your way down from New England to be with us Southerners.
Thank you so much. I always love coming to the rural part of America.
Rural?
It is a very breath of fresh air from the big city life.
Well, thanks, I think. Be well, sir, and hopefully we'll see you again.
Howdy, y'all.